Alright, what is up, YouTube Mafia? We are finally back after a few months hiatus. I'm back on the move again, and today we're going to be doing some major maintenance on the V-Dub. So let's check it out. This puppy has 213,000 miles now. I've been doing these videos on this car for a few years, and it's put in a lot of work. You could see the lights I installed and the wheels. The wheels are actually really popular. I get a lot of compliments on these wheels. These are a race line. I got them from Custom Offset, I think it was. Oh no, Fitment Industries. But yeah, I get a lot of compliments on the wheels, but the suspension is old. I can't believe, I think it's like 9 or 10 years old, getting there, and it's shot. So today we're going to be replacing it with something new. Kit from ECS. It's an entire coilover system. It's basically just some coilovers. And I also got some new bushings. Let's check it out and see what we got. I am super hyped on this. Let's move this welding cart out of the way. Like I said, that is for another day. I ordered this probably, it's been about a month now. Oh, there's a lizard. Sorry, lizard. I ordered this about a month ago, and I just haven't had time to get into it. I think I got a discount on it. ECS is not a sponsor, although if you're interested, hit me up. My email is in my description. Anybody else ever want to hit me up, you can contact me. So here's what I paid. I got a polyurethane axle bushing kit for the rear. It was $83, and then I got the MKIV adjustable dampening coilover system. That was $809. Sales tax, everything came out to $962. That's the most I've ever paid for a suspension kit. Any type of suspension. Let's see what comes in the box. These are some nice coilovers for the rear, I guess. Yeah, these are for the rear. We'll get those out of the plastic in a minute. We got the front struts. Again, I paid more for these. These are not the cheap, and they're not the most expensive. I would say they're like in the middle. A little bit maybe higher end. I mean, you can pay $2,000 for some coilovers, but these are really nice, good quality. Powder coated. The thing that you'll notice about these is that this is where it goes into your suspension. You see the diameter right here, and then it kind of goes out. That's because this part is beefier. So, and ideally that's because it'll last longer. It's kind of cool how it spins like that. So you have that adjustment, then you have this adjustment up here. So there's actually two. That's kind of neat. You also have the dampening adjustment right here, which is a major upgrade. So you can adjust how stiff you want the suspension. So that's a major upgrade. Oh, it actually came with some, I forgot what these are called, but I already have some nice ones, but I might as well just replace them. They got some new bushings in there, polyurethane it looks like, and also has some new bushings in here. So that'll be good. The rear springs. So lots of good stuff. There we go. And then the other piece is the rear bushings. Let's crack these open. I can show you those real quick. There you go. These are the rear bushings. I don't know how hard it is to put these in, but see how it goes. And I ordered all this off of ECS website. I'll put a link, even though they're not a sponsor. Jack stands. One thing I will say is do not use an air impact gun on your chrome lug nuts, because this is what will happen to them. The chrome will just chip off. So use do it by hand. Don't use an air impact gun, and you'll save the chrome on your lug nuts. You can use a ratchet, just don't use an impact. Well, it's been a while since I've done a coilover job on this car. Like I said, I'll have to check the date. I don't know what this number is. I know it's not 2016. At least I don't think so. It actually could be. That's true. It would be almost 10 years. That's how old these coilovers are. So that actually might be correct. I need to take off this bolt here. It'll probably slide right off. Usually when you do it the first time, it's pretty stuck in there. I might need to take off this axle nut so I can pull the suspension out to drop it down to allow this to slide out, disconnect all my brake lines. I know one time I did something and I pulled the ABS sensor right here and broke it. So make sure you disconnect that so you don't break it. Because if it drops down, it'll pull on it and it'll just break your ABS sensor right there. So probably need to take off this clip. And other than that, I think we should be good. Take these brake lines off right here. Probably need to, I want to say, disconnect the sway bar right here to allow this A-arm to drop down farther. I did replace these. These are new. Sorry, outer and inner tie rod ends completely new. That helped a lot. One thing I forgot is that you have to have a special wrench to take this off, so that way you don't damage your strut piston right here. It'll spin if you don't use the right tool. So if I don't have the right one for the new coilovers, I'm just going to order it and wait before I install it. But we can get this one off, so let's do that. First thing we're going to do is loosen up this bolt right here. Let me take this off. That was loose. Let's loosen this bolt up right here. That way the A-arm can drop down fully. That full extension in there. Take a hammer. Yep, we are out. All right, cool. Now all we got to do is take off the top bolt and we should be good. Take this off last because you need the strut to be held in place as you drop down the swing arm from below. Oh, there it goes. That was probably the easiest and fastest coilover suspension removal I've ever seen. Again, if you're removing your struts, your McPherson struts, it's not going to come out that easy. I do need to take this off because this is a heavy duty strut tower bushing, I guess you call it. I'm going to reuse it. This is a replacement one. It's not the original one, or else I would recommend replacing it with something new. Must be 21. Yep, it's 21. There we go. Oh, we also need this bearing. So this is an ECS Tuning heavy duty strut mount bushing. I hope it's still good. Let's get the old parts on the new struts. All right, let's do a quick side by side. Jatara, what do you think? This is the old one here. Here's the new one. And let's just take some measurements. So what's the difference between a $800 coilover system and a $300? I'll look up the exact price. First of all, this is the diameter here. Comes in at about 5 centimeters. And the new one also is 5 at the base, but as you see, as it goes up, it actually is a lot bigger. So we're about a full centimeter wider, 6 centimeters diameter. Also, You notice the springs or the coils, these are thicker. These are gonna measure probably a centimeter, full centimeter, a little more than a centimeter. And the old ones, whew, not too much smaller. Yeah, so a couple millimeters thicker on the more expensive coilovers. This looks like a normal coilover, but this part is removable. So when you screw it in, it's gonna go into an adjuster in there. You can see the end of it. So you gotta take this off. That way you can put your strut tower bushing on. We are back. It's been about 2 weeks since I started this project, and we had a couple hiccups like a job. So I wasn't able to keep the project going. So here's where we're at right now. I was able to order the tires, and I got them installed. So I bought the tires online, had them installed by my local tire shop. There's the old one. It actually is pretty good. I'm gonna try to see if I could sell it, except for this inner edge is worn, but the rest of it's pretty good. So before I put these on, I need to put on the new suspension. And you can see I got this side pulled off already, but we had some issues with a couple of things. So let me show you what's going on. Here you can see this bolt that you have right here. So this has to be torqued down to 40 foot-pounds. Let me show you the correct order that all this goes in. So here's you know, this is how it looks before you assemble it. And the first thing you want to do is you want to put the bearing first. So the part that's throwing me off is that this bottoms out, right? So we're going to tighten that down, and then we put the bushing, and that's what I was doing wrong. So I was putting the bearing on top, and then we put this, and you see it has like a tapered edge, so that's going to go next. And then you're going to put this one, and I thought that was just a holder to keep everything together for shipping, but no, it actually holds it in there. So we're going to put that in. We're going to tighten this down to 40. So this is where I got stuck at, because you need a special tool to do that. Here's a special tool. I did find it on ECS, but it was more expensive and it would have taken longer to get in the mail. So I actually asked my wife to hook me up because she has Amazon Prime. I do not. So I got it in a couple days. So there we go. You see how it fits in there? So we can use our torque wrench for that, and then we can get our Allen in here to hold this so it doesn't spin as we're tightening that. So that was kind of what was holding me up. Set my torque wrench to 40. I'm gonna have to do this on the ground. It's kind of hard to get that torque in there. All right, we're having problems because I don't have anything to hold the strut as I'm trying to tighten it up. So what I'm gonna do is there's a shop inspector. I'm gonna put it in the car so the car can hold it, and then I'll be able to get a good leverage on it to tighten it down. All right, there we go. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, now we're in. All right, let me tighten up this, torque down this bolt to proper specs. Now I have something to hold it. Remember, we're looking for 40 foot-pounds. pretty tight. Gotta put this on there. Hopefully it doesn't break. All right, so I looked into the instructions, and basically it's up to you. You can adjust this. This is the height adjustment. This is the spring load adjustment. So what they did is they said, well, we just basically turned this up until it was snug with the spring. So there it is there, and then they just turned it one more time. So that's the preload. That's going to set your tension on your spring, but you can also adjust the height right here. So I'm just going to lock this in place for right now. There, lock this here. Then when you want to adjust it, you would turn this. So unlock it. Oh, you can see it's turning actually right there. So I'm going to leave it there for right now. Tighten this bolt down. And these are supposed to be one-time use bolts right here because of some sort of compression or something like that. So once you use it once, you're supposed to replace it, but you know, nobody ever does that. So let me tighten this down. I got to check the torque spec on this. It's probably 44. I did this one at 44. Torque down there. I'm gonna tie that in. These are sway bar links. All right, there we go. We can take this off with the new ones. Okay, so luckily I did buy this pass-through socket and ratchet set, because I'm gonna need it. You need a 5mm socket to hold the end link in place, or else it's gonna spin. Got it in there. I'm gonna torque it down to 48 or 44 actually. 44. This is a lot for this little bolt. I think it's spinning again. Yeah, I think this is spinning. So I'm not going to be able to use a torque wrench. I'm just going to have to tighten it a lot. Pretty good. That's good enough. All right, this should be tightened down to 15. We're good there. This one I did check. It is 40, so we're good there. Just reconnect these cables, put them back in their placeholders, and we should be good. Well, check this out. I found a solution. I can use my 18mm pass-through socket with a 19mm offset wrench, and then I'll use this, set this at 40, and then I will tighten this down, right? Am I doing tightening? Yeah, I'm tightening. Boom. There we go. 44. Ha ha ha. Thought they could beat me. They couldn't. Solution, problem solved. Gotta do the other side, but for right now, we gotta take off the strut. Yes, again. All right, that's good to know. All right, got that out. Let's take off the end link here. So let me get my jack under here. Give it some support. Take off this bolt right here, and I can use impact. All right, that came off. All right, so we're not going to reuse this because it's the wrong size thread. So this is how it comes in the mail with the parts in this alignment here. So what I do is I lower, first of all, you got to take this off right here. you got to unscrew this to take it off. So once you unscrew that, you can take off the adjuster. Once the threads are all loose, you just pull it out. Be careful not to strip them because this is aluminum. So you got your bolt here. This is for the top hat. This is for the bearing. So we're going to reuse our bearing. It's going to go in there like that. Then we're going to put this facing down like this. And then we're going to use the tapered bolt. Put that in there, or washer, sorry, washer. Then we are going to put this in here, like so. Coilover in here. Alright, so we have an alignment issue here. You can see in the hole, the tab, this tab right here, it's not lining up. But there's no more room for it to go up, so I'm going to try bending it with the screwdriver. Alright, so what I'm doing is just using the screwdriver to kind of pry it down here, and I think it worked. Let's find out if my little trick worked. Yep, just like a charm. So we're finally ready to put our top hats on. So I think I'm going to put the washer in between here and the top hat. And I'm not going to use a washer for the top one. So let me get the washer. This here came with it. And then here's the one that came with the kit. So you kind of see it has a built-in washer in there. So I'm going to use this washer here that came with the kit. I'm going to put it in between, and then I'm going to put my top hat and no washer on top. And then torque this down to 40, and then we should be good to go. Then I can put my adjuster up on top. 32-way adjustment. See if the Allen is turning on the inside. Nope, not yet. Oh, now it's starting to turn. All right. So for the top hat, we actually can't use my trick because it won't fit in there. This is not going to fit through this socket right here. I think it's not going to fit through there. So we are going to have to use this tool. All right, I keep doing this until I get to 44, or at least 40. So I got this down. I got this torque down as best I could. We're going to put our adjuster back in there. Just pops back into place, and then you tighten it down with this. Like I said, the other side is stripped. So I'm not sure if this one is gonna catch any threads or not, but it doesn't look like it. I guess the main thing is that, oh no, I guess it did. Okay. So there's a 32-way adjustment. 1, 2, oh, it's all the way at the end. So I'm gonna go to the middle. 1, 2, 14, 15, 16. So I'm gonna set them both at 16. And we're not gonna have these anymore. Get rid of those. This is the old bolt. It's the next day. I called it quits yesterday because the sun was beating down on me. It got kind of hot yesterday. So where I left off yesterday and I ran out of steam is right here. This end link doesn't fit. So I need to release this so I can drop down the swing arm and line up this end link. So I'm gonna try to avoid taking this off completely. How much do I need? Ooh, I need a lot. I need about a good 1.5 inches. So I might need to remove it completely. we're in. We are in. Put the bolt on. Get it started so it doesn't fall out. Then we'll just raise this swing arm back up. Don't forget to put your washer in there. Let's just see if it's right. Let's see if I'm right. I'm gonna turn this and see if this Allen key turns. Yep, so I'm actually not tightening it. Alright, and like I said, we gotta get this to 48 foot-pounds. So when I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna use this open-end wrench. I'm gonna use my torque wrench with the Allen head. Okay, and I'm gonna tighten this. Why it has to be so tight? Okay, it's turning. All right, let me flip this. I did torque this down 15 foot-pounds, which is weird. It's so little compared to the other bolt was like 48, which I actually could not get because it was spinning, and I stripped out the I stripped out the Allen head on it. So it is what it is. It's not going to come off. All right, I think we're done in the front. Just got to get the wheels on. I need to change the oil, and then I need to do the rear, which I am not going to do today because that's a whole nother day project. I'm also going to change the bushings for the trailing arms there as well, so that's a whole nother day project. I'm just going to get my wheels back on and take it for a test drive and see how it feels. I have a feeling it's going to feel 100 times better. Oh no. What do you think, Shatara? Shatara, what do you think? She's not sure yet. Houston, we have a problem. When you put on these higher end coilover systems, what they don't tell you is that you're going to need spacers because this diameter is larger. As I showed earlier, you can see right here where the rim is actually hitting the coilover, and it's hitting pretty good. I am going to need to put some spacers. Damn, I hope I didn't damage it too much. It's just paint, but the powder coating got messed up on there.